Good day, this 358th day, meaningful moments, 365 days. Today's meaningful moment takes me back quite a bit to my early childhood days. Perhaps some of you are reminiscing at this time about some of your favorite childhood memories. You know, so much of life when we look back at it has all these, rocky areas, hills, turns, twists, all those kinds of things that we experience, and some of us have had an abundance of them, and certainly come through a lot, transforming lots. And I couldn't help but think, the families that we come from, the different experiences we have with our siblings, how some families are so intact, so to speak, and then others are a little bit more broken, torn up. And having experienced different pieces of those kinds of different ends of the line, you might speak, like a timeline, different ends of those timelines and what we're going through those different stages. I feel really fortunate today to be thinking of my mother and father, and for some of you that also have experienced loss. It's just so important right now that we can find ways to tap into this timeline, this continuum. And it's not really a linear line, it's really more of this continuum that's a wheel and a circle. So I was thinking about that today as I was kind of reflecting on a moment. And I was doing this over a cup of coffee and a little piece of sweet bread, pan de dulce. And my husband and I ran out this morning to a Mexican store. Shout out to West Chicago, Supermercado Tampico, and they had fresh tamales there because this year I did not set out to make those on top of the other homemade baked goods and things we were making. But those were things that were prevalent in my home every Christmas, especially Christmas Eve and New Year's Day too. But on Christmas Eve, it was a tradition to make tamales. So we have all these different ways we can revive these little pieces of these fond memories that we have, and even through things that might have been dysfunctional or painful at different times, they no longer hold that kind of quality of energy to it anymore. Now they're just free. They're free to remember like a movie reel going through this timeline, this time tunnel, so to speak. And now we can just see like flashes and glimpses of the smiles and the laughter and the love and what was really pure and whole about those experiences. And so today I'm remembering my mother and my father. There's an altar here that we have close by, and it sits by our dining room table, and our ancestors are invited here, our parents. And thinking about that today as I sipped on my coffee with that little piece of sweet bread, remembering my mother doing that, and so many of the different things that would happen on Christmas Eve and La Noche Buena. And you have yours, your traditions, your memories, your families, things that you might remember. And if you don't have those kinds of memories, make them for yourself today. Find little ways to care for yourself and gift yourself in these little ways. I'm not talking about an expense like a monetary kind of way or anything, but you can find these little things, these little ways to celebrate the beauty, the joy, the peace, the goodness of life. And no matter how difficult our life has been or where we're at right now in terms of perhaps obstacles or challenges we're facing, there's always opportunity to be able to just sit with this moment and feel like it's the perfect moment. Shout out to Dan Mangana for this. And remembering all the just beautiful people in your life. Everyone has had someone touch their life in beautiful ways, and it makes me think of course, as you may have already heard me speak about, It's a Wonderful Life, and how we touch others' lives. So in this time tunnel, we get to travel through, we get to feel the quality of the energy as we move through. And as we heal more and more, we find this beautiful extraction of what is really love, and what is the momentum of the energy that moves us forward and lets us transcend, transform, and move into other timelines, even those of the future, as well as heal the past as well. So today, remembering all that from my little trip to the Mexican store and eating my little tamale and my sweet bread and coffee, pan de dulce, café, and La Noche Buena, and thinking of my sisters and brothers, and perhaps you're together or not together with your siblings, and everybody has these different takes on everything that's happening with COVID and all that kind of hubbub that's going on. So whatever ways, find your ways to celebrate today, the time tunnel that you've traveled in, and then find those opportunities that go outside that time tunnel and propel you, project you forward into these undiscovered, newfound portals that we're moving into. For you today, my friends, on this Christmas Eve, La Noche Buena, in Spanish that means the good night. May you have one today. Blessings. Aho.